absolute destruction of the American immigration system, and I can prove it point by point. I'm unafraid to speak the truth. This is just data-driven and experience-driven.
America is going to become a majority-minority country. We need to find neighborhoods where we can live. We need to create a neighborhood, a state, something where we can live. Is that not our right? Do we have to live among Haitians? Because that is in effect what they're telling us. If we said we're going to go to Idaho, or we're going to go wherever, New Hampshire, Washington State, wherever, Arkansas, if we said we were going to go somewhere and we were going to colonize a city and we're going to say, look, we only want certain kinds of people. Maybe you could have some black people or something, but we want it to be 90% white. Let's say that. They wouldn't let you. The government would not let you. And what they're telling you is that you must accept racial diversity. Why? Why? I've never understood that question. If diversity is such a strength, but you reject it, then, well, more for everybody else, right? Wrong. You have to take it. You might not want it. You might not see the enormous value. You're going to have it crammed down your throat no matter what. Why? If it's such a blessing, why? There's a very deep answer to that question. We'll get into it someday. Well, we've been into it before, but people should reflect upon that. Why? They talk about, there's black neighborhoods where it's all black people. No one bothers them about that. I wonder why. No one wants to rush and go live there. I wonder why. And no one cares that no one's doing that. I wonder why. But if a bunch of white people got together and said, hey, we're going to go live over here. We like you. We don't hate you, but we just want to, this is how we want to live. We want to be among people that are like us. You're racist. Yeah, well, maybe we are, but that's how we like it. No, you can't do it. You can't do it. HUD will come in with Section 8. They'll come in and say, there's not enough diversity. We're bringing in the refugees. We're bringing in the Section 8, and you have to have diversity here. Why? Why are they doing it everywhere in the world? There is an agenda to get rid of us. I mean, it's really, I know that sounds conspiratorial, but what else could you make of it other than that? There's no agenda like that in China. There's 1.5 billion Chinese people in the world. There's not 1 billion white people in the world. Or there might be like 1 billion altogether. There's 1.5 billion Chinese. There's going to be 1.5 billion Indians. There's 1 billion Africans, 1 billion whites, and it's dropping off a cliff. And in every country, we're being replaced. And I feel like no one wants to just talk about that. What if we don't want that to happen? Why is it wrong because we're white? Japan doesn't want it. South Korea doesn't want it. That's fine. When white people don't want the diversity, it's a big problem. What is it about being white that they want to disrupt and diversify and divide and collapse all of our societies into what we all know is going to be chaos? And they've already made the decision for us that this is acceptable. What if we don't want that? What if whites want to sit on our pile of gold and enjoy it? We invented the iPhone. We invented the internet. We invented all this stuff. What if we want to sit on our pile of technology and gold and everything and enjoy it? They're coming in and saying, no, you have to have Haitians, Venezuelans, Congolese. You have to have all these people. And we say, we don't want them. They bring problems. And someone is telling us, well, it just has to be this way. That's an acceptable loss. Haitians forcing your children's school bus off the road is an acceptable loss. It has to happen. Why? Who's telling us that? Why does it have to happen? Why do we have to deal with any of it? I mean, what is the nature of this democratic society that these people that don't make anything, people that don't pay taxes, they don't salute the flag, they don't love our country, they don't feel a part of it. You don't feel a part of it? Get the fuck out. They don't feel a part of it, yet they vote. They don't feel a part of it, yet they take. They don't feel a part of it, yet they're here and not somewhere else where they'd be more comfortable, where the people that look like them are running the show. They don't go there. They want it over here. And if you try to get away from it, they chase you. It's everyone's sick of it. Everyone is sick of the diversity. And they're making it so that you can't have a problem with it because, you know, these people are so integrated and now every frat has their Indian friend or whatever. Every frat now has a handful of, exotic people in there. Oh, that guy's on my frat, bro. He's cool. It's just like, it's so fucked up. Whatever.
Welcome to Truth with JJ Carrell. That's Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes. Exploding on the internet. He's been around quite a while. He's exploding. Why did I play that? It's incendiary, right? It's explosive. It's racist. No, actually, it's not. He represents young kids like my son. Let me explain. He represents a very tight segment of our society. He's representing 18 to 30-year-old white men. Because for a decade, these now 18 to 30-year-old white men have been demonized. They have been told, you're the problem, you're racist, every ill in America is because of you, because of your oppression, your masculinity is toxic, you're Satan incarnate, we hate you, every other race and ethnicity, is above you, you are on the bottom because you are despicable. And these young men have been hearing it ad nauseum. And one by one, these young men are waking up to the fact that no, none of that's true. None of it is true. We are not the problem. We're actually a great group of people. Our masculinity is not toxic. White people are not bad. You cannot blame all of your problems, all of your horrific decisions, all of your cultural and social norms against me. As a white man in his 50s, I have bristled. I have spoken out loud for a very, very long time about exactly what Nick Fuentes is talking about now. Why is it okay for you to demonize me and label what I have accomplished, what I have failed, and what I have accomplished in my life as some kind of privilege because of my skin color? I don't remember you sitting with me on the border for an 18-hour shift that I worked overtime in order to buy my first condo in California. I don't remember you working 30-hour days like I did, taking down giant narcotic loads, getting in fistfights, and then making me more productive so that I could get a promotion. I don't remember you there. I don't remember you being there when I'm publishing my first book, when my publisher takes my rights and tramples on them and I have to take it back and figure out how to self-publish. You weren't there when I was working another job, doing podcasts, writing another book, filming documentaries, trying to be the best father and husband I can, and flying all over the place, living on 2, 3, 4 hours sleep a day. Where were you? Nick Fuentes is absolutely correct. You have disenfranchised, you have demonized an entire segment of our society, and they've had it. They've had it. I'm going to read you some statistics so you understand the very beginning of what Mr. Fuentes said at his beginning of his monologue that I showed you. We are becoming a minority majority country. What does that mean? That means the majority of all of the races, if you put all the races and laid them out, the whites will have the biggest majority, but we will be a minority in our country. And you say, well, that's a good thing. Who says it's a damn good thing? Joe Biden? Anderson Cooper? Other minorities that poured into our country? Why is that a good thing? Why is it a good thing that whites are being displaced? Why? Who voted for it? Who actually got in front of Congress and said, this is what I'm running on, vote for me, I'm in Congress now, now I'm going to start to implement the destruction of white people, the destruction of the vast majority of our country from its foundings? They applaud it. What if I reverse the colors? And yes, white is a color. What if I sat like a stupid, cocaine-filled clown clapping for the black population's decline because of the things that I've done and voted for? Hey, guess what? I'm a congressman. I'm standing in front of the House of Congress. Hey, black population is down 3% this year. Isn't that amazing? We're now in the single digits. Let's double down on everything we're doing, and before you know it, we'll have those blacks down to less than 5%. And then we'll start really focusing on the Hispanics and Asians. And everyone in the Congress was like, man, that J.J. Carrell, absolutely. Let's have him run for president. How heinous is that? But it's not heinous when you talk about white people. It's not heinous when you talk about replacing white people, demonize white people. Why is that okay? Where did it happen that we are the problem? Here's some statistics for you. Just to drive home Mr. Fuentes' point. 1970, white population in America, almost 88%. 1980, 10 years, it drops 7 to 8% down to 80%. 1980s, it goes to 76%. Then we kind of level out. 1990, 76, 2000, 75, 2010, 72% and dropping. 2020, 71%. Now wait for it. Wait for it. 2025. Projected white population per Google, AI, and all these numbers are within a percentage or two of each other, depending on if you go to Grok, you go to Department of Labor statistics, you go to anywhere. They're all right in there. 2025. 2020, we're at 71%. 2025, we just dipped below 60%. You are telling me that this is not a concerted effort to replace white people, the great replacement theory? Are you really going to try to argue with me about that? You're going to call me all your vile names, that he's a racist, he's a white nationalist, he's a blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all. It means nothing to me. I'm looking at stone cold statistics. I'm looking at experience on the border. I'm a guy that has researched and listened to the power people, the power structures tell us what they want to do. I look at their actions and they're replacing us. Is it too late? Yeah. Yeah. Barring a miracle. Yep. If I dig into the birth rates, white people, America as a whole, but white people are in around 1.6 replacement. That is a non-replacement number. You need 2.1 children per family. We're at 1.6. We're dying. And we brought in 50 million illegal aliens that have a birth rate of 2 to 5 times the replacement rate. That number of 60 and below percent that we're standing at 2025 easily is projected by 2040, which I think is absurd. 2040, 2045 will be under 50%. But if you look at the trajectory of what we are witnessing now, by 2045 will be about 45%. %45. I remember having these discussions with my father in the 80s when I was in high school and college, talking about population and what our government's doing. 2025 was like sci-fi movie. Like, to talk about 2025 in 1980s was just like, you couldn't even wrap your brain around it. I'm living the discussions that my father and I had. Just so you're very clear, before you begin to yell and say, well, JJ's a racist, his father's a racist, has to be a racist. My father was Native American. Think of the biggest, strongest looking Indian you've ever seen on TV or movies or pictures. That was my dad. 6'4", 275. Dark. God, he was so dark. His hair was like midnight black. Powerful man. Huge dude. Scared everybody. Secret Service agent. Protected LBJ to the Bush Jr. Powerful man. Non-racist man. One of the smartest men I've ever known. See things very clearly. Talk about things very honestly. And now I'm having to have conversations with my son, who is blonde, blue-eyed, beautiful, fair white skin. I'm having discussions with my son as if I am a black sharecropper in the 1950s, looking at his beautiful, black-eyed, beautiful black skin son, and telling him, son, you have to ignore the racists in your society. God made you exactly how you are made. He made your skin pigment that color black. He made your eyes that color. He made your hair this way. He made your eyebrows. He made the desires and beliefs and the intellect that's in your brain. God made it all and made you specifically in his image. So you are to never, ever apologize for the way you look. You are an individual and you own your life. And everything that you come up with, good, bad, or indifferent, you own it. That's you. That black sharecropper had to have that conversation with his son, with his young black son. And it was wrong that he had to have that conversation then. And it is equally wrong that I have to sit and have the same conversation with my white son. Our sponsor today is sat123.com. Sat123.com. I talk about being prepared. I'm not a prepper. I remember preppers 10, 15, 20 years ago. They were maniacs. They were lunatics. Who would ever believe these people? Well, all the billionaires believe those people because they're building bunkers. And my pitch for Sat123 is just very simple. You can buy or go to Sat123 in order to be prepared for problems, or you can go and just be prepared. You don't have to think like I think, but you have to. If you have children, you have a loved one, and you need connectability to be able to contact them. This is the company you use. The economy's tanking. Trump's trying. The dollar's worthless. So when I pitch you, hey, I'm promoting this company, you should go get a sat phone, and your first reaction to me is, I don't have $600. I don't have $1,000, $2,000 to get a phone. Well, you don't need that, because they give you a free sat phone when you sign up for less than $100 a month for their cell coverage and their minutes. Look around. Look at the natural disasters / man-made disasters. Look at the wars. Look at the flooding. Look what happened in Hawaii, where people were stuck in traffic for hours, couldn't get out, couldn't get cell coverage because the cell towers were jammed. Tell me how you frantically would feel sitting in your car and you can't get a hold of your family. Or your son or daughter is driving and they break down and they need connectability and their cell phone doesn't work. My son, who's going to begin driving here soon, will reach into his glove compartment. He will pull out a fully charged sat phone and call me, and I'll come get him wherever he is. They have everything else under the sun of being prepared. My son's going to school next week. He's going to use the same backpack as he had last year. That has never, ever, ever happened. Because he thrashes them. That's how well their backpacks are made, and they have ballistic shield in it. Because we live in such a screwed up world that my son has to go to school with a ballistic backpack. Go to sat123.com/JJ or call them 941-841-0844 and hold on tight. You won't believe this. The person on the other end will be speaking English from America. Not Bob from Bangladesh or Susie from Calcutta, India. No, you're going to speak to John from Des Moines, Iowa, or wherever John lives in America, and he's going to speak English, and he's going to speak to you and help you. Sat123.com. I want to play Clay Travis from the Clay Travis Show. Buck and Clay Travis Show, huge show, took over Rush Limbaugh. Listen to what he says. Just if you can play it for just 58 seconds, and he's going to follow up on my commentary on Nick Fuentes about this disaffected, disfranchised, and demonized group of Americans.
You wrote on X that college football players overwhelmingly voted for Trump. So why does Donald resonate so well with this group?
Because I think young men, and I've got 3 of them. I've got a 16, a 14, and a 10-year-old in my house. I think young men innately are seeing through the BS world that they have grown up in, this woke universe where suddenly being male is wrong. I had one of my friend's kids a few years ago, Jill, came up to me and he was like, so I was in class the other day and the whole class was just about how white men are awful and it destroyed everything. And he's like, I'm 12. I can't even choose what time I get to go to bed. I'm not destroying anything. And I think that idea has spread from white men are awful, frankly, to men are awful. And I think a lot of people out there are saying toxic masculinity is BS, right? Look,
He's absolutely correct. Toxic masculinity is BS. And the idea, and this is started with, it's amazing. I bet if you go back, it started with toxic masculinity, then it was then coupled with white privilege, then it just became young white men are the problem, all white men are the problem, but let's focus on the 18 to 30-year-old white men, they're the problem, and then it just grew to this insanity. I want to play, I have a guest waiting, and I can't wait to talk to her because I'm connected to her because of my film, my documentary that I had with Ryan Matta, and she runs a film festival. And I want to promote it, and I want to talk to her about it because I believe the films that are being showed there and my connection is very powerful. Great memories. But before I do, I want to play Dice, Mark Dice. He's a comedian, kind of man on the street, has like 2 million followers, subscribers, whatever you want to call it. And he does the man on the street and asks people questions, and it's shocking. He does a lot of it in California, where I used to live. I know that whenever I see him doing the man on the street, I can tell you exactly where he's at. I've been to all those beach communities 1,000 times, professionally and on just driving around. Listen to what he says.
These days, white people are regularly blamed for every problem in the personal lives, communities, and countries of non-white people. And despite Martin Luther King's wish that we could become a society where people are judged on the content of their character, not the color of their skin, it's common and widely accepted for black people to express racism against white people and to continue to blame white people living today for things that other white people did hundreds of years ago. But it's not just a few disgruntled and envious black people who have embraced such beliefs. With the mainstreaming of Black Lives Matter, anti-whiteism has become disturbingly widespread and normalized, and white people are constantly said to be keeping down minorities because of white privilege and systemic racism, despite white people actually being a minority in the world, and even in numerous states within America. Whites have been a minority in California for well over 2 decades, since the year 2000, and they're also a minority in Hawaii, New Mexico, and Texas. Other states, including Georgia, Nevada, and Maryland, are trending to be next, and projections are that white people will be a minority in the whole of the United States around the year 2045, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. But you're not supposed to talk about that unless you frame it in glowing terms as an exciting transformation of the country, as CNN's Anderson Cooper calls it.
The idea that whites will not be the majority, I mean, it's an exciting transformation of the country. It's an exciting evolution and progress of our country in many different ways.
Jimmy Fallon's audience cheered when he said that the 2020 census showed for the first time in our nation's history the number of white people went down. He was setting up a joke, but the audience burst into applause at the setup, confusing Fallon, who looked bewildered.
Some more news. The results of the 2020 census just came out, and for the first time in American history, the number of white people went down. Interesting reaction to that.
What if we changed that? What if we made it Hispanics and we all cheered? You think that would be okay? You think that why? There's 2 reasons why this is all happening. We have to balkanize America. You have to balkanize America into segments of society that don't speak the same language, do not share the same common values, societal norms, cultural norms, and then you pit them against each other. You're telling me that we're not balkanized now as Americans? I just read you the population we are going to see from 1970 to 1945, which is 70 years, you're going to see a population of Americans decrease by over half. Do you understand what I just said? Over half. And people are cheering for it. We have artificially destroyed the demographics of our nation because we brought in 50. Now people are saying out loud, 60 million illegal aliens living in our country. This is a demographic time bomb that must be addressed. Logan, I want to play one more clip just to finish this out before I bring Miss Lee in. Can you please just play this clip that I have where I say, listen to this exact description of white males. And this guy ties everything that I've been saying for 30 minutes, everything Nick Fuentes, everything that Mark Dice, everything that Clay Travis, he brought it all down to like a soundbite of 40 seconds, and it's powerful.
Adult white males between the ages of, say, 18 and 25 to...
The economy sucks. You're probably never going to buy a house. Your degree is useless and left you in mountains of debt. You're nowhere near capable of providing for a wife and kids, and you can't imagine yourself settling down with any of the women in your age bracket anyway, because Disney princess programming and feminism has left them fundamentally unwifeable. You've grown up in a culture which has celebrated every other form of identity besides you, and in exact proportion to how much they're not you, to the point that now schools and companies can hire based on that metric, all the while being told you can't complain or notice any of it because of how privileged you are. And if you don't know how privileged you are, it's because of your privilege. Even though you're basically a debt slave with minimal hope of a financial and familial future because your economy and culture has abandoned you. So a lot of dudes just checked out and started like smoking weed and playing video games. Some of the other ones went to countries where they like white people and men, like Thailand, I guess. And some of them were like, you know what, this is a good challenge. None of it makes sense. It's all going to shit. Fuck it, I want a big house, and if you come on my land, I'm going to shoot you with guns. I want a bunch of kids and a wife churning butter. I'm going to make it happen. You tell me.
And we heard some beeps in there, and that is the man today, the white man. We've had it. Blame for everything. Again, if I reverse the colors and you pick a color and you demonize that race, and then you destroy it to the point where you've made them toxic. You won't even hire them. They can't even get jobs. And then you decrease their population by 50% while everyone's cheering, and you expect that group of people to just continue to take it? No. Everything has a cause and effect. What you have caused, if you think there's no effect, history is going to prove you wrong. This isn't my belief, my feeling. This is what is going to happen in America. The pendulum's going to swing. And when it does swing back, it's going to be ugly, because you're going to have millions upon millions upon millions of men that have had it. Let's segue into something that is very positive, and that is the 2A Film Festival. And before I bring my guest in, let me tell you why it's so sentimental to me. So me and my partner, Ryan Matta, did a documentary called What is Treason Trafficked? And the 2A Film Festival allowed us to show our film there. And this beautiful theater in a small town in Texas had, 150, 200 people in there. And I was able for the first time to see my film on the big screen and to see the reaction of the crowd as it was playing out. That is a memory that I will hold dear to my heart for the rest of my life, because that was a goal that I had. I wanted to create a documentary. I wanted it to be powerful. I wanted it to be successful, and I wanted it to be played on the big screen. And selfishly, I wanted to just sit there and look at the expression of the people that watched it and see from them, because I could tell instantly if it was impactful, if it was entertaining, if it was good or bad. I can see it right away. And I will never, ever forget that moment that I saw my blood, sweat, and tears, my financial investment to see that Yeah, that was a powerful documentary, something I'm very proud of. With that, I want to bring in Tamara Lee of the 2A Film Festival. Ma'am, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your show. It's an honor to be here with you today. And I just have to correct you. I know our logo looks like, I don't know if you can see it behind me.
Yeah, pull it over.
Our logo designed by Andrew Mullenix, which he's our filmmaker guy, looks like a gun, kind of intentionally, kind of a play on the visuals. It's actually a film camera because we are the 1A Film Festival.
You're the 1A Film Festival today. Okay.
What?
So you went from the 2A to the 1A?
No, we've always been the 1A.
What? I could have sworn it was a 2A Film Festival because I have it written down and I have that in your. Oh, you know what it was?
It's our second
annual one. There, I transposed the numbers like an idiot. The second annual 1A Film Festival. Oh my gosh, how did I miss that? It just. So tell us about your film festival. Tell me where it's going to be, same place, and when, and what films are going to be on there.
Well, just to recap, last year. And for your audience to just hear it, maybe not from you, but there you could have heard a pin drop after your film. It was so compelling and profound in its impact of just, wow, this is what our government is doing. This is the reality of it. And that's the power of film. It's both, what I love about film is that it's both personal, internal, you're watching it, you're thinking as you're seeing things, you're applying your own experiences, you're maybe being challenged in your own thoughts and biases by a well-done film. It brings you all those places of anger, sadness, laughter, joy, empathy, all those things that the power of film has. And yet it's a public experience. The beauty of a theater where it's dark and you're all watching, you're having this shared experience, but it's so very individual at the same time. And that's what I love about film. And so a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I went to David Summerall, I've worked closely with on StopHate.com and the J6 Pardon Project over the years. David and I, great friends, great colleagues in this mega fight. And I said, we need to do a filmmaker. David has 5 films to date. And so I said, we need our own Sundance if we're going to take back culture. And you were just talking about that in your prior segment of, we're losing the culture war, and we've allowed that to happen. So we need to step up. So I said, let's do a First Amendment film because a lot of us were censored heavily. I think my first censor was in 2017 when we launched the Pardon Flynn Now, Pardon of Innocence campaign. And so we put together a film fest last year. We're back at the Greenville, Texas, the iconic and historic Texan Theater. We moved it up a month this year because Andrew Mullenix is still teaching. He's our film guy, incredibly talented individual. And so it's August 23rd. Last year, we started out with a handful of films, maybe 5, and it kept growing. And yours was one of our last editions that we were grateful to premiere Friday night. And last year, for the first annual 2024 one, it was ahead of the election. And so we wanted to package, the way it turned out was beautifully. It was definitely a God thing. We had it come together that it was, here's where we are now with your film, with the border crisis. And then we started Saturday. We ended up with 12 films total. Pack Day Saturday with Mickey Willis' Plandemic, then Professor David Clements with Let My People Go about the election. So we started with COVID, the pandemic, then the election steal, and then January 6 films, Chris Burgard, War on Truth, David Summerall, J6, A True Timeline. We had 1,000 Days of Terrors. We had some short films by our UK filmmaker friend, Mark Sutherland. And then we wrapped up Saturday with filmmaker Q&A and awards. And then Sunday we had Bloody Hill, another one of David's films. Mike Smith, talented filmmaker, incredible, out of Hollywood. His sequel to Out of the Shadows, Into the Light, exposing the Hollywood. And then we ended with Adam Riva's Crucible of Donald Trump. And that was ahead of the election. And we wanted to give people the whole package of where we were, where we are now. And then now, a year later, 2025, President Trump is back in office and the J6ers have been pardoned. That was David Summerall, Susan Monk, Trennis Evans, a lot of us that were really working hard while the J6ers were incarcerated to make sure that on day one of President Trump's term, January 20th, 2025, that they all were pardoned or commuted to get out. So we accomplished that. So this year, our theme is propaganda and censorship. So 1A Film Fest goes PC, and we are around that theme. So same time, second annual Film Fest, live streaming event again. You can go to 1afilmfest.com. $25 buys you the live streaming ticket, access to all the post-production, the extras, the bonus, and last year's 2024 content. That's all up on our website at 1A Film Fest. If you want to come in person, as you know, JJ, it's a limited amount of seating in the theater. It's a beautiful theater, beautiful setup. Those are $100 for a ticket if you want to come in person. And we will start the day. This year, we're toning it down. Last year was overly ambitious, but incredible in the accomplishment that we were able to pull off. So this year, doors open at 10:30 a.m. We're going to have a filmmakers meet and greet. The live streaming link, if you buy the ticket, we set you up with the live streaming link for access that day. Act 1 is Trump's family, women, firsthand experiences with the president, from filmmakers Matthew and Joy Thayer. It's The Trump I Know, and that runs about an hour and 30 minutes. Act 2 is a migrant crisis. We are blessed and fortunate to have James O'Keefe from O'Keefe Media with Line in the Sand, his documentary on the migrant crisis. And then Act 3, demonic high fashion normalizing pedophilia. So this kind of carries over your theme of the trafficking and the dark side of what really is happening with that open border that we had under the Biden administration. And that's the human toll and darkness by design. So this film by Adrian Palashevsky takes a look at the fashion industry. Mike Smith's Into the Light, Out of the Shadows looks at Hollywood. Your film looked at the open border and the trafficking and the sex trafficking. This one kind of builds in that dark side of the fashion. And this evil that's out in our culture that has taken over is, they say it's hidden in plain sight. It's before our eyes, and we don't see it because we're the frog in the boiling pot. And then now we're at the point, and you've said it with the culturally, with the male whites. We've now noticed that it's really hot and it's all around us. And there's a tipping point, a boiling point where either we change it or we've lost everything that our Judeo-Christian constitutional founders intended for this country. So that's Act 3. Act 4 is legacy media as the propaganda arm of the state. This is a great film from Adam Riva and John Harold, Time of Deceit. And it talks about how that propaganda, how, again, kind of tying, they use fashion, they use movies, they use the words, the language in our culture, all to keep us from that sovereign citizen, that constitutional freedom that was gifted to us by our founders with the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution in this great country. At 5 o'clock, we're going to take a break. 5:30, we'll have our filmmaker Q&A. Then the Act 6 is January 6th and the big tech censorship. So America in the Dark, the J6 pardons and big tech censorship. That was one of the things David and I worked on right away. January, my Twitter account was again shut down January 7th, 2021, the day after January 6th, because I had been putting out video. So they definitely used the censorship, both the propaganda and censorship all around the J6. And that battle is still not won because of the average American still thinking was a violent insurrection on the part of Trump supporters. And so we continue on with that. And then 7:30, we have some special appearances planned, special guests that we're kind of keeping under wraps at the moment just to build some anticipation. And then Act 6, 8 o'clock, we're going to do the Sing for Freedom again. If you, any of your audience may be aware that the J6 hostages held in confinement over the course of the Biden administration, every night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, they began a tradition of singing the national anthem, and it's called Sing for Freedom. A guy named Pi actually initiated that tradition, and it took on a life of its own. So at 8 o'clock Central Time, because we're in Texas, we're going to pause and do our Sing for Freedom, sing the national anthem. And then Act 6, January 6th, is David's 5th film. Adam Riva, David Summerall, Trennis Evans, Andrew Mullenix, and Daniel Goodwin all worked on Pardon Us, Justice for All. And that's about an hour and 10 minutes. And then we'll wrap up with our awards again. And 10 p.m., we have a special announcement and the close of the day. So just one day this year, we jammed a lot in. Of course, we started with maybe 3 films, and then it grew to, I think we're 5 or 6, but the demand is there. The incredible documentaries and filmmaker talent is out there in the mega community, and we are honored to be able to celebrate that, bring that to a wider audience. We hope that people will take advantage. You can have one person, a pastor can buy, one live stream and fill his church up. That we hope that happens, that everybody gets to see all this great content. And we want to make the 1A Film Festival a tradition that rivals Sundance or replaces it, at least in our mega community.
Well, I think it will. I think I'm so excited that you are doing a second year because I really believe that documentaries have been taken over by conservatives. This has now become an avenue for us to speak loudly and clearly, and it's powerful. Documentaries are powerful. My prayer is that I get invited back. I do another documentary here in maybe next year for the 3rd annual 1A Film Festival, and because I have such incredible memories. The theater that you're showing it at is beautiful. It's completely remodeled. It's like you're walking into a movie set, to be quite honest with you. You drive down this older small Texas town, and you're like, okay, I see the theater, and you walk in and you're like, holy smokes, it's beautiful. It's a clean little town in Texas, and the theater is spectacular. And I will always be thankful to you for allowing Ryan, Matt, and I to show our film there and to have a dream come true, basically, come true right there. And I got to watch the audience react to my movie, and I will always be grateful to you and the 1A Film Festival for allowing that to happen. So everyone go to 1afilmfestival.com, 1afilmfestival.com, and or purchase your ticket to go there in person. I hope this becomes a annual destination for people, just like other film festivals, because I really believe it's that powerful. I really do.
Yeah, and it's 1A Film Fest. No festival.
1afilmfest.com.
So,
yep. We have it right below the screen right now. So we have 1afilmfest.com, and we will push that out. Absolutely. And it's August 23rd, correct?
Correct. August 23rd.
All right. It's fast. Last year was September. I remember that Ryan, Matt, and I were scrambling the day of trying to get the final edits in.
Didn't we?
Oh boy, I've never felt that type of anxiety or fear ever in my life to not know what I was. I just saw my final documentary edit literally 2 hours before we showed it at the film fest. And it was an incredible moment, but one filled with anxiety and fear and concern, but it came out all right at the end. Miss Lee, thank you so much for coming on.
Border Patrol agent.
Oh, you sent me in the dark of night.
Striking fear.
Oh no, you send me down in the dark of night to make arrest of savages. I can do that with my eyes closed, but tell me to go into a film festival, never see him. Oh my gosh, that's stress and anxiety that I never want to feel again. But ma'am, thank you so much. Everyone go to 1afilmfest.com. August 23rd. You will not be disappointed. It's great. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, JJ. Talk to you soon.
All right, have a
Bye.
great day. Incredible memories. 1afilmfest.com. 1afilmfest.com. It is the second annual to a 1A Film Festival. Second annual. I hope we have her on 10 years from now, that we're doing the 10-year anniversary of that film festival. Incredible memories. I want you to go. Our next sponsor for the final segment of our show is Patriots Made, patriotsmade.com. And it's a simple pitch. Why do you want to send your money, your hard-earned money, to big box stores and companies that hate you? I don't even want to soft pedal. They hate you. They hate what you believe. How do we know that? Well, because they fund everything that we despise. Black Lives Matter, defund the police, no kings, and on and on and on. Why not go to a company that is in America, makes products for Americans, by Americans? Well, that would be called patriotsmade.com. Go to patriotsmade.com/JJ, patriotsmade.com/JJ. I'm going to finish this episode out with Donald Trump is about to, if you can pull this article up for me, Logan, Donald Trump is calling to federalize. I'm going to read this is from the Gateway Pundit. Huge. President Trump threatens to federalize D.C. over the out-of-control crime after Doge team member Big Balls, remember that guy? Severely beaten by a gang while defending a woman. Who beat him up? A gang of 8 black young men. Well, he got beat up. What? It's not that bad. Like got a scrape, right? He just got a scrape. No, that's not what happens when you get curb stomped by 8 black guys. That's Big Balls on the left. That's his handle, and the left went after him and demonized him. Incredibly highly intelligent young man that worked with Doge tries to step in and save a woman being hurt by 8 black men, and they do that to him. Look at it. Don't look away. Look at him. That's your son, your brother, your husband. Sure, he'll get married and have kids and he'll be a father. Why is that okay? Why is that okay? Come on, I need an answer. The days of being quiet and hush, of, well, don't say who it is. Don't say who did that. Why? Why should we not talk about factual truth? There is an enormous increase on black on white violent attacks. Violent attacks and murders of whites. Are we just supposed to ignore that? If that's my son, I'm supposed to ignore that my son is bloodied because 8 black men beat the crap out of him? Well, let's go back in time. What is that, 5 days ago now? Cincinnati, 7 days ago? I want you to look at another victim, an innocent white lady going to her friend's birthday party, tries to step in and help an old white guy getting his ass kicked by 100 black people. Not 10, 100 black people. And this woman, if you see the video, I thought she died when the man punched her in the face and her head hit the concrete. Look at her face. That's not doctored. That's not, she didn't put makeup on to stage this. A black man and a group of black people did this to her. Look at it. Don't look away. I want you to stare at her. This is happening every single day across America. Do you know how much the person that punched her in the face and did that immense amount of damage, you think she's going to be okay to have that kind of head trauma? Look at her neck. Look at her face. Do you know how much the man was let out on bail? Do you know what his bail was? $400. $400. Logan, please play or show me this next X post. This is the black congresswoman. Her name is Victoria Parks. Look what she wrote. They begged for it. That congresswoman right there, that black congresswoman, just said those white people begged for that. That white woman that I just showed you begged to have her face caved in. She begged for it. Why do we have this problem? Well, let's listen to Ayanna Pressley as she blames the white majority of people in Iowa. Go ahead and play this for me, Logan.
Governor Reynolds, let's learn more about the state. Do you know?
Hey, Logan, I'm going to play that black guy, and then I'll go.
Black?
I don't know the exact percentages. No, we're by far a larger percentage of white population.
That's correct. Iowa is 90% white and only 4.5% black. So that is drastically different from the national population. So when Republicans suggest Iowa should be a national model, they're advocating for a government that doesn't reflect our country. So let's talk about what this model.
So what Ms. Presley's saying is, well, then let's start busing black people into Iowa. Do you see the absurdity of this? You don't like how I'm saying this? You don't. What I love to do is let's listen to other people of other colors tell you exactly what I've been saying for the last hour. Go ahead and play this man, Logan, and we'll finish out the episode.
People who are dependent upon basic functioning of social institutions to further their effort at achieving prosperity, those black people, working class black people, lower class black people, people who are just barely holding on, need our fellow Americans on side, alienating them gratuitously with this racist, and it's racism, this racist rhetoric, hating white people, hating people because of the color of their skin, blaming them for the sins of their fathers or the supposed sins of their fathers. It is not only a waste of time in the schools, it's a political distraction that we really can't afford.
No, we can't afford it. I'm tired of it. I'd be tired of it. We're talking about blacks. We'd be tired of it talking about Hispanics. So as a white man, I'm tired of talking about whites being the problem, because guess what? We're not. How about a simple thank you?
Welcome to Technocracy News with your host, Patrick Wood. I'm your co-host, Logan House. Today we have human-AI relationships. What am I falling in love with? Then we will have selling us rope. Palantir is raking in billions from Washington. And lastly, Jeffrey Epstein, transhumanist and technocrat at the top of the pyramid. Patrick, this first one's sounding a little weird.
That's because it is.
Yeah. I remember seeing an interview of a guy who said that he asked one of the AIs to marry him, And she, I guess, the AI said yes, and he cried. He started crying over it. And this was a grown man with kids.
Yep. Well, this is becoming a theme now across the world as these companion apps are rolled out and people get hooked on them. You see an increasing frequency of people getting married to their AI. Go figure. This is a psychotic condition, in my opinion, when somebody could get attached to a machine. But there's reports all over the world where people are marrying their AI companion.